Welcome back to the PHCodal channel. Let's jump right into this suspenseful true crime explainer that literally established a foundational principle in Philippine criminal law. Today, we're looking at a landmark Supreme Court decision from way back in 1910, United States versus Ah Chong. Now, this isn't just some dusty old legal document. It's a gripping story of a midnight misunderstanding with fatal consequences. It asks fundamental questions about human nature, fear, and what exactly makes a mind truly guilty in the eyes of the law.
To structure our learning today, we're using the FIR method: facts, issue, ruling, and reasoning. This is going to help you easily lock this case digest right into your memory.
Part 1, The Facts, a Midnight Tragedy. Let's see how this builds into a terrifying scenario in the middle of the night.
Picture the tension here. Ah Chong is asleep, right? Suddenly, he wakes up to the sound of someone forcing his door open. He jumps out of bed and calls out into the pitch black, but gets absolute silence. So, fearing it's a robber, he escalates his response. But right at that moment, he's struck in the dark by a chair that had been propped against the door. Thinking he's under a violent physical attack, he grabs a kitchen knife, strikes out wildly in the dark, and fatally wounds the intruder.
And this quote brilliantly illustrates his state of mind. He yelled, "Who is there? If you enter the room, I will kill you." He didn't just attack blindly. He actively tried to figure out what was happening and issued clear warnings to whoever was out there before taking any drastic action.
But here is the tragic climax of the facts. When the lights finally came on, the supposed violent robber was actually his totally innocent roommate. The person Ah Chong had just stabbed was a guy he lived with who was maybe playing a practical joke or just coming into the room without realizing the sheer panic he was causing. It's a devastating twist, and it sets the stage for a massive legal battle.
This brings us perfectly to Part 2, the legal issue: mistake or murder?
So, the crucial question we have to answer here is exactly this. Is the accused criminally liable if he acted under an honest mistake of fact? Ah Chong definitely committed the physical act, but did he actually have the criminal intent? I mean, can we really punish a man who honestly believed he was fighting for his life, even if that belief turned out to be completely false?
Let's move to Part 3, the Supreme Court ruling, acquittal. We're going to see how the court delivered a definitive answer on Ah Chong's fate.
The court actually acquitted him by applying this incredibly powerful legal maxim, ignorantia facti excusat. Basically, this means ignorance of fact excuses. The Supreme Court effectively decided that an honest mistake of fact completely wipes out criminal intent. Because Ah Chong honestly thought he was being attacked by a robber, he simply didn't have the malicious intent needed for a conviction. But catch this, it only applies when the mistake is made without fault or carelessness on the part of the accused.
Which leads us right into the final piece of our framework, Part 4, the legal reasoning, pressed by circumstances.
The court's reasoning relied on these specific requisites to prove that Ah Chong had absolutely no alternative but to take the facts exactly as they appeared to him in that chaotic moment. First, if it really was a robber, stabbing him would have been completely justified as self-defense. Second, his mistake wasn't his fault. Remember, he called out and gave warnings. Third, being hit by that chair meant he was pressed by circumstances to act instantly. And finally, in the pitch black of night, under a sudden perceived attack, he just literally had zero time or opportunity to make any further inquiry.
This comparison brilliantly illustrates the real boundary of the law. Think about it. If you have plenty of time to turn on a light and check someone's identity and you don't do it, you're being negligent. You're at fault. But Ah Chong's situation was entirely different. He was in immediate perceived danger. The law just doesn't expect you to act with perfect, calm calculation when you're suddenly hit in the dark by what you honestly believe is a deadly threat.
If this structured FIR explainer helped your legal studies and made this classic Supreme Court case crystal clear, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the PHCodal channel. It really helps us keep breaking down these fascinating cases for you.
I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought on the true nature of intent. Can criminal guilt truly exist without a guilty mind? Or does justice depend entirely on what we honestly believe in the dark? Ah Chong walked away free, but he had to live with that tragedy forever. Keep learning, keep questioning the boundaries of the law, and I'll see you next time.